So so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I wanted to explain the assignment that you may or may not have read the email about. Okay, if you did, awesome. Maybe you've gotten it done, and that's fantastic. If for whatever reason you checked at 9 o'clock and there wasn't something exactly at 9, so you said, "Oh, she's not sending something," or you just took the day off for whatever you needed to do. The assignment that I wrote for yesterday is not due today. It's going to be due tomorrow. Right. So either way, no excuses now. Does that make sense? Okay. So if there was confusion, right after this moment, there will not be confusion anymore. Okay. So on Canvas, I posted 2 things. I posted a reading for you to do. It's like 2 pages, a Word document, 2 pages that was copied and pasted from an online textbook that we have access to, but I didn't want to have to make you guys log in. Okay. And then I also posted this chart. Okay. And this is what you need to have done for me by tomorrow. So if you did it already, fantastic. If you have not started it, now you know. So I just want to be really clear about what you're going to see. Okay. Now, and also if charts really make sense to me, that's why I do a lot of charts, because that's how my brain organizes things. If you're not a chart person, I'm cool with that, as long as you still get all of the information. Okay. If there's another way that your brain organizes stuff, by all means, make that happen. But this is how my brain works, which is why I do it. Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or something like that. 5, 6, 7 different types of data that we can collect to find out evidence on climate. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are in the reading that you did or that you will do. Okay. You need to tell me what kind of thing it is, physically, what is it? How was it preserved? Because we're talking about historical, okay? How does it tell people? How does it tell scientists about the climate? And then how far back can it go? Okay? Does it go back thousands of years or millions of years? That I just so we can compare them later. Does that make sense? Okay? So there are 5 of them that you're going to get, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5 of them from the reading, and then 2 of them have videos that go along with them. They're 2.5 minutes long. I picked short videos so that you could get the information and be done. It's not like you have to sit there for 35 minutes and watch it, okay? But they're little tiny URLs, so they should be easy to get to, okay? So this is an expectation that you have either done now or that you get done by the time you come into class tomorrow. Does that make sense to everybody? Did anybody have issues accessing anything on Canvas? I thought that I did everything right, but now and then I miss a button somewhere. Okay. If you have issues with it, send me an email and I'll help you out. Okay. But again, when is this due and when do you need to have this done? Tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure that we're all good there. All right. Next thing to do is a capture question, a quick one. So pull out your capture questions. We're going to go ahead and do that really quickly here. Capture question 6.6 says, what is that big, long, scary word? The word is pronounced paleoclimate. This might be one of those words where you don't really know, but I want you to use your knowledge of the English language to figure out as much as you can about what it might be. Go ahead and talk to your table mates right now. That's absolutely fine. It's going to be a quick one. All right, guys. Go ahead and have a conversation. All right, so what did you say? And the answer, I don't know, is not okay, because at least you can dissect that word a little bit and figure out something about it. Climate. You know the word climate. We've only been talking about it for 2 weeks now, especially with all these snow days. It's been a bunch of weeks. Colin, what does the word climate mean to you? Okay. So is it the weather? Okay, so temperatures. And is it just temperature? Hot is hot, same climate? Temperatures and precipitation. Come on. CIPITATION. There we go. Temperatures and precipitations, but it's not just in one day. What did you say? Yeah. right? So it's kind of like the general patterns that we see in temperature and precipitation over a long period of time. Yeah.
Paleolithic time period, probably.
Say that again.
In the past.
Are you doing the paleo part now? Yeah. Have you heard the word paleo before? Or the prefix paleo? What's that? Paleolithic? Which means what? In the past? Yeah. Have you ever heard it in other contexts? I'm just curious. Like the dinosaurs that you said? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. The dinosaurs lived in like paleo time, right? Yeah. Have you heard it in other contexts or no? Is that kind of the only time you've heard of it? Yeah. Yeah. Has anybody ever heard of somebody eating a paleo diet? Yeah. Yeah, that's like a new trendy thing. What is a paleo diet? Do you know? What's that? No, just tell me what you said. It's just not good. Okay, so the healthiness or not, like we're not going to get into that because that could be a whole different biology day and that stuff. But what is the paleo diet? Do you know what like the concept of it is?
You eat like cavemen.
You ate? Yeah, that's essentially what you do. Yeah, the concept is that you when you first said I didn't hear the like. I thought you said you eat cavemen.
No.
It's like, ooh, that's cannibalism. I don't know that that's really a good thing. That would be really not good for you too, right? But you eat like or as if you were living in ancient times, right?
Oh.
So the idea is that you don't eat anything processed. That's the whole concept of a paleo diet. Again, I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm not making that argument at all. I've just heard the word in that context, which is why I want to throw it out at you. So it's in the past, and not like yesterday, but like ancient times, right? Or long, long ago. So in the past, it's the temperatures in the past. That's all that paleoclimate means, friends. It's one of those words that sometimes seems a little scary. Like, what? Paleo? What? I Googled it just to see what it said because I was curious how they defined it. And, Google knows everything. Well, that was a sarcastic comment. Paleoclimate, it's not very big. You can't see it very well. A climate prevalent at a particular time in the geological past. Yep. So we got the right idea. The temperature and precipitation, the measurements at a particular time in the geologic past. Does the climate stay the same all the time, friends? Absolutely not. No. And the climate here, you talk about climate change. Climate is changing. It's just that we're monkeying with it a little too much. Okay? Today, I want you to get those labs out because we're going to actually do some paleoclimate analysis today. All right? So what I need for you to do is to get that lab out. It looks like this. We started glancing at this last time we were together, I think. Yes, of course. Does anybody else need a copy? All right. So we're going to take a look at what we're doing here. We are going to take a look. It says, in this investigation, you're going to analyze some sediment samples, determine the type and amount of pollen in those samples. You read through this, but it's been 48 hours now, so it's been a little while. You'll then determine the type of vegetation that was alive during that time period from the pollen. This will enable you then, this is the scientific part. This is where your brain comes into it. This is where you have to think and not just do, right? It's going to enable you to infer. Do you know what infer means? Has anybody ever heard of that? Or an inference? Yeah.
Guess. Knowledge of the climate.
Absolutely. It's kind of a guess, but it's not just a random guess. Oh, I think it was cold. But it's an educated, right? It's like, based on what I know, I can then tell this, right? About the likely climate that the pollen, when the pollen was shed. So pollen is like little bits of stuff that comes from plants, right? All plants give off pollen. That's one of the lovely things that we know that are that's helpful here. This exercise was developed based on actual pollen data collected in the Rocky Mountains. So this is not just like a earth science teacher making some random stuff up. Again, we talked about this on whatever day that was, Tuesday. There is not actual pollen in here. There are little paper dots that are representing the pollen. but it's all based on what we know from the Rocky Mountains, okay? So you're going to get a sediment bag, a paper plate. I don't have tweezers, but you just kind of use your pencil to sift through things. And then I'm going to get you the pollen keys as well. When you are set up, you're going to examine your sediment sample. You'll dump it out onto the plate very carefully. Jack and Colin, you guys need to stop. I'm so tired of it. Got it? Thank you. You're going to empty your sediment onto, this is going to be a paper plate, not a pie pan. I don't know why that got changed, but anyway. You're going to dig through it until you find all the pollen. Make sure that you know that you've got all the different colors that are in there, okay? Use the pollen key to determine what species of plants are represented. And then from that, you're going to figure out what type of climate you're talking about. I'm going to get a big tube that's got all, like it's got a soil core so you can see where you live in or where your sample comes in the pile, okay? And then once everybody is done, then we'll fill it out together and kind of watch how the climate has changed. Does this make sense to you? Are we okay? Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause this real quick. And then, sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. The whole point of this is that we're looking at different kinds of ways to tell about climate. You guys are collecting data on just one of those. So just having this really doesn't tell us a whole lot. It's that next step that's really the science. This is the just data collection, and that's all well and good. And I wanted you to have all this so that you can kind of compare. Does it look like any of these samples have exactly the same climates? Take a look. Do you see any similarities between any of those samples? What'd you say? B and C?
B and D.
Oh.
B and D too. B and C and D.
So C and D are almost exactly the same, right? Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. This one's the same, and this one's the same, and that one's the same.
Oh, A and F look a lot. A and F.
A and F look pretty similar as well, don't they? Yeah, because you got this one, and that one. Cool. Other similarities? Those are two big ones. So the game is not only just to see those similarities. That's a big deal, though, right? Kind of how do you compare? But then to take that data and take the information that you read about each of those types of plants, right? So there was the geologist that did the digging. There were the scientists that are looking through and the biologists that know about these types of plants and where those types of plants lived that we can use to put all of this together. Yeah? B and D are similar too. You're right. That's a fair observation. So B and D, like that? Yeah. B and E?
No, B and E.
I was going to say B and E are like opposites. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go down here, and now we're going to look at our layers. So remember I said that it doesn't go A, B, C, D, E, F, right? In fact, they went in funny orders. So which sample thinks that they're at the top? That's you guys over here? What baggie did you have? C. All right, so we're going to write down C over here. Everybody's going to write this down. And sample C, what did you learn about your climate? Warm and dry, they say. And can you tell us a little bit about the evidence that you found for that? Like what kinds of plants lived there? You've got all this stuff written down. I'm not trying to ask you something you don't have in front of you, I think.
The pines need warm and dry climate, and the aspen can't survive in snow. And then the meadow grasses and wildflowers need warmth and drought.
So just take a minute to write that down, okay? So Sydney's saying that the baggie, that C, represents that warm climate because you have the pines and the aspens that don't need a lot of water, and a lot of these things can't survive when it's really really cold. Is that what it said? Is that what your data told you? Okay, cool. All right, next one down. Who thinks that they had the next one down? Right here. Had to be somebody. No? What was this kind of dark stuff? I think that's F. Who was F? Are you guys F? Yeah? I think, and some of them look kind of similar. I think that second one down is F because it's a little bit browner. It's a little bit less. Here, let me show you. Because they're kind of hard to see. Let's pop it back over here. We got a minute. Whoa, hello. Can you see it now? Kind of to the side. What do I need to do? Flip it this way? That's the right way up, right? How are we doing? Whoa! I'm trying to make this way harder than it needs to be. Come on, technology. So the thing, did you guys think you had the next one down? Yeah. So if you look at these, and this is one of those things, right? When you're looking at soil samples, take a look here. So the top one is the purple one. That one was easy to figure out because you just had the purplish one, right? Boom, no problem. Now this one, you got this kind of brownish stuff here, and then you've got this stuff that's a little bit darker here. I think that the one that you had just looking at them side by side, sometimes it's hard to tell when you're not looking at two of them together. But I think side by side, this is the F, and then this one is who thinks that they had that one? That's you guys. Okay. So those, and they look very similar. It's kind of hard to tell the difference, but I think that that's where it comes from. So I'm gonna throw your sample. That was F. You said right there. Can you tell us about the climate?
Can you switch it?
Oh yeah, you can't see. I'm sorry. For sure. Thanks for reminding me. What can you guys tell us about your climate, friends? Shh.
It's cold and dry.
Cold and dry. And what evidence did you have for that, Jody?
The limber pine, lodgepole pine, and bristlecone pine can grow in the climates.
Limber pine. You had lots of them, right? Lodgepole. What was it? Lodgepole. And some other kind of pine. Bristle? Is that what you said? Have you guys ever been out to Colorado?
Yeah.
There are definitely areas that I would consider cold and dry, like up in the mountains, right? And if you look around, they have a lot of trees with leaves on them. They have a lot of this pine kind of tree stuff. All right. Layer number 3 going down. So Hannah, you guys said that was yours, right?
Yeah.
What did you say? What was it?
It's kind of warm and dry. Sometimes it's moist. I hate that word.
Humid?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes humid. Which sample did you have, by the way? I didn't write that down. You had B? Okay. And what evidence did you have for it being warm and generally dry, but sometimes it's a little more humid?
Most of our plants live best in warm conditions, but one lived in most of them lived in dry and warm climates, but one needed lots.
Sure. And so maybe it's a situation, you remember we were talking about in some areas where it's dry most of the year and then they have a rainy season? That could be a situation, right, where you've got most of the year it's dry and those plants that thrive in the dry climate are happy, but now and then it needs to have that rainy season so that it can help that out too. So warm conditions and maybe a rainy season. All right. We've got time for one. Maybe one more. What's the next one? Who is the next one down? This is the sandy. Nobody wants to claim that one? My guess is that this one and this, did you both claim this one? Do you have two groups that claim this one?
Yeah, but we took we're E, we took the bottom one because ours was like fine and build, and then the other one.
So these look very similar, but one was a little bit more fine grained?
Yes.
Okay. And so, which, did somebody else claim this one, the bottom one? Or you guys both think you have this one?
What?
So, Beth, you said, which sample do you think is this one? Is the bottom one?
E.
You think that's E? And then we've got C and
We got A and B left.
A and D?
Yeah.
Do you both think it's this one? Yeah? Whew, I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Bye!
How do you